Hey everyone, Jeff with the Death Star Human Resources Department newsletter, podcast edition. I am back once again with the People's Champion, Shane Elliott from
Woo!
Feats N Faults. Shane, how's it going?
Heyo! It's going pretty good.
All
Yeah.
right, good to see you again, my friend.
Yeah, always, always.
All right, before we get into it, make sure you follow the Death Star Human Resources Department newsletter at deathstarhr.com. Make sure you check us out on YouTube here and on Instagram. Links will be in the show notes below. And Shane, where can people find Feats N Faults?
You can find me at Feats N Faults on Substack, and someone made a Reddit. So if you want to check out the Reddit, go for it. I have nothing to do with it, but if you want to look at it, go for it.
I did not know that. You know, you're big time if there's a Reddit for you now.
I guess.
I did not
think
realize.
There's like 2 people that are in it, but it exists, and they just kind of post the links to my Substacks, but I'm not complaining. Hey, there's somebody out there who's really into it, and I'm all for it. So if it's you, way to go. You have my support.
Wow, I did not realize I was in the presence of royalty here.
Yeah.
All right. So,
also, for good news, Death Star Human Resources and I teamed up. We're doing a fun little giveaway.
That's
So
right.
we got a little action figure here. So if your favorite character is the ISB tactical agent from Andor, it could be yours.
So leave a comment on Feats N Faults, leave a comment on Death Star HR, and we'll draw a name out of a hat, or we'll draw the name out of the Stormtrooper helmet.
That's right.
One of you will get a pretty cool ISB tactical Black Series action figure. I mean, that's the one all the kids are after. That's the one you see at Halloween.
The hot toy,
you know.
That's right.
All right. So you and I have talked several times, but for anyone who's new, can you explain Feats N Faults? And I'm going to throw a little twist here as well, because I know what it is.
Okay.
But I want you to explain what it is without sounding like a crazy person.
Okay. Without sounding like a crazy person, that's going to be hard.
Right. No, that's why I did that.
Basically, people like to talk about who's the strongest, who's the weakest, who would win against this person. And I always found that type of discussion a little bit boring, because you can't really pit people together. It's different universes, different power scales. Who cares? So during COVID, I was thinking, you know what? I like Doctor Who. I'm going to watch through Doctor Who. But to make it fun, I built a system that they scored points based on the good that they did or the bad that they did. And then when I finished Doctor Who, I was like, well, I could do this with other things too. And I have a way to compare everybody based on not how strong they are or how wealthy they are or what position of power they are, but in what they actually did with it. So it just became a fun game where you can compare Batman with the Kool-Aid Man, which I did because I'm crazy. So,
you know, you were doing really well without sounding like a crazy person right up until the end.
Right until the end. Yeah, my 100 sub special, I decided to do ad icons. So I spent like a month watching McDonald's ads and Kool-Aid ads, and I went nuts. I went crazy.
I think you and I talked about it the first time we talked, and you are very well versed in the McDonald's cinematic universe.
Oh, my word. Yeah. Right, when I was in the mess of that, we would go to McDonald's, and I would see a mascot, and I was like, you want to know the origin story of Bernie?
And your wife was like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Leave me alone.
That's when she's like, she's signaling for help.
yeah, absolutely. So if you're crazy or you're just curious how your favorite character did, go ahead, check the page. If you go on the web, not on the phone, I have everything labeled, and you can go to your favorite Marvel, Star Wars, just click the tab and you'll have tons of articles to go through.
And so if you're watching this and you are not signed up for Feats N Faults yet, you absolutely need to be, because it is fantastic.
It's a fun read.
It really is. All right, so last time you and I talked, we talked about Young Jedi Adventures.
Oh yeah, everybody's favorite Star Wars property.
And today I think we're talking about the show. It is probably the most critically acclaimed Star Wars show. It is a masterpiece in every sense of the word. The casting, the acting, the sets, like just everything is top notch. And that is the Young Jedi Adventure shorts.
Yeah,
that we did not talk about. Yes,
No, yeah,
yes.
we had to do a whole podcast just about like 6 episodes that are
Like
2
a
minutes
minute
long.
each. Yes.
Yeah.
So no.
Mm-hmm.
Today, obviously, if you hadn't guessed it, Shane and I are going to talk about Andor. I don't know if there's really anything you or I could add to the description of Andor that hasn't already been said.
No, not really. It's so good. I
Mhm,
was slow on the train for it because Rogue One is not my favorite movie. I
mhm.
know that's like a controversial opinion, but it's like I I like the Han Solo movie more than it, which is gonna probably blow people's minds.
That is a
Um,
take.
yeah, but
That is a take.
so I was slow on Andor. I
Mhm,
don't think I watched it until the first season was finished,
mhm,
and I started it, and it didn't grab me until he was in prison. I love a prison break, and the
mhm.
moment they were doing that, I'm like, I'm sold. I'm in, and I loved it. It's a fantastic show, and I think it's what like um the seediness and the politics of it, I think is what the prequels were trying to do.
Mhm.
And it's just done brilliantly here. It's
Yeah, yeah.
fantastic.
And the sad part of it is, of course, we are now living in Andor,
Yeah.
which it was far more fun when it was just a TV show,
Yes, it
not
was.
not our stupid timeline.
No, no. It's weird how people saw this and took notes and decided to do it instead of avoid it. It's weird.
You know, going back to something you said about the prequels, I've had this theory I've kicked around for a while, and it's half serious, half not serious. That George
Mhm.
Lucas, he grew up in the era of Vietnam. He was drafted for Vietnam, but he
Mhm.
had a medical deferment. And then after Vietnam, you have Watergate when he's still probably in his 20s at the time would be my guess if I remember correctly, 20s 30s. And I joked that George wanted to make episode 1 like a political thriller, like an All the
Mm.
President's Men or something like that. But he
Yeah.
knew if I don't have lightsaber duels, like people are just going to revolt. So that's how we
Yeah.
got that. That's the genesis of episode 1. And now, you know, we really did get the political show. And I think, something else you and I talked about was the Acolyte. And
Mhm.
there was a lot of politics in that, and they kind of
Yeah.
advertised it as like kind of a Star Wars political thriller,
Mhm.
which I don't think it really lived up to.
I feel like it was starting to be that. Again, like we said when we covered it the first time, the first season's just all set up.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
and now we don't know if we're going to get any more.
I'm not
So,
holding my breath on that one.
yeah.
All right. But anyway, we are talking about Andor, and we
Mhm.
are covering basically the main characters. I think there's
Right.
there's so many characters in there, and so many that appear in multiple episodes that you kind of
Mhm.
have to narrow it down. So
Right.
who are we talking about today?
All right. So, today we are taking a look at Saul Guerrera, Kino Loy, Andor himself, Bix, K2SO, Dedra, whatever her name is.
Fascist Barbie.
Yeah, Syril Karn, B2, EMO, Clea, Mon Mothma, Luthen, and Krennic.
Man, that is a killer lineup. I'm
Yeah,
trying to. There's nobody really off the top of my head that I'm
there's a
like,
couple
oh.
ones that surprised me.
I was gonna say there's nobody.
So,
There's nobody in that list where I'm like, oh, either they should be there, or
mhm,
I'm not thinking of anyone off the top of my head that I'm like, oh, you really needed to have them.
yeah,
Um, all right, I'm gonna do what I normally do. I'm gonna try to guess who
mhm,
scores the highest and who scores the lowest.
yeah,
I'm gonna say lowest. Lowest, I'm gonna say Krennic, and
okay,
I'm gonna kind of. I love his character.
yeah,
I'm gonna kind of base that on he has the least amount of screen time, I think, out of everybody you
mm,
said.
yeah.
Um,
Now he was in some movies though,
oh,
so
that's right. He was in.
those
Are we?
scores,
Okay. So we're importing the scores from Rogue One.
yeah, just like Saul Guerrera, he's in some
Yeah. Oh
Clone
God,
Wars
Saw's in a
episodes.
lot. All
Yeah,
right. I'm gonna rethink that then. If we're counting Rogue One,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Hey, Mon Mothma was even in an original, so
Right. I'm gonna go. I'm actually gonna say B2 is gonna be the
okay.
last, and
Good
then for
choice.
first,
Hmm.
gonna say either. I'm trying to decide between Andor
Yeah.
himself or Saw,
Because
and I kind of
Andor
feel like
does have a lot of screen time and a
yeah,
movie, but Saw has the cartoons, so
right. That's kind of that's kind of where I'm going between, because I feel like, and we'll talk about it a little more when we get to Saw. I feel like he was a little wasted in Andor.
mm.
Um, I mean, Mon Mothma gets a lot of screen time, but
Does she
she's more
actually do anything?
right. That's kind of what I was gonna say. Like she gets her speeches, and her actions aren't maybe as quantifiable. Like
Mm.
they talk about her laundering money, but you don't really see it. I'm gonna go with Saw as number one.
Okay.
I'm gonna
All right.
I'm gonna with Andor as number two.
Yeah. All right. Well, then I guess we'll just jump into it and
Yeah,
see.
let's
But
get into
before I
it.
start, I just want to remind people the point breakdowns.
Oh
So
yes, good call, good call.
basically, what I did was if you achieved like a personal feat, like let's say the whole series was about you, I don't know, learning to jump rope or to kill a guy. Like if you achieved your main goal, you get a point, right? Or if
Mhm.
you affected like yourself and one other person, you would get 1 point. And then that doubles every time. So if you affect 3 or more people, you get 2. If you affect a town or a fleet or a colony, you get 4. Country, half a planet, species, that's 8. Planet is 16. Solar system, 32. Galaxy, 64. Universe or all existence, 128. And then multiverse or every possible existence is 256. And that's where it stops. So, you can either win if you have a lot of screen time, kind of like
Mhm.
John Wick worked his way up the list just because of the amount of people that he gunned down, right?
Mhm.
Or you can do one big thing and save the universe, and then boom, you have 256 and you're already up at the top, right? So that's just kind of how the point work. Just want to remind everybody if you're not the guy who made the Reddit. So
You're not the number one fan.
yeah. So
And
first,
you also get negative points. Or you
yes.
can.
So if you do one of those things, but in a negative way or as an accident, then it's in the negative. So you can go back down. So, like a lot of comic relief characters or comedies, they go down, not up, because, haha, it's funny, they made the mistake. So, that's just good recap.
All right.
So, we will get started. So, in last place, and actually our second lowest scoring character of all time
Oh wow.
is Syril Karn.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay. He
he
probably has a lot of
scored,
faults, would be my guess.
yes. So he had 5 feats. Okay, he saved a woman. He fooled and infiltrated the rebellion. He saved Dedra from Andor. He was put in charge and promoted, and he successfully interrogated Dedra.
Mm-hmm.
So those were his feats. Pretty good feats, you
Yeah, that's
know?
pretty good.
But he was trying to be he was actually trying to be a good Imperial,
Mm-hmm.
right? He wasn't this villain. He wanted to be just do his job, right? But he didn't listen to orders and he got his man killed. Uh and his actions caused his company to lose control of a solar system and give it to the Empire. So that was a pretty big deduction.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he didn't shoot Andor when he had the chance. He choked. And then he got.
Yeah.
So he only had 3 faults, but losing an entire solar system is. You're going to get deducted for that.
Yeah, that's a pretty big fault. Like, you screwed up, and it's not like you just kind of got in a little bit of trouble. The captain yelled at you. It's,
Yeah,
oh, you screwed up. Here comes the Empire.
right. Now, we lost our company. The Empire now controls this entire system that we were in
Mm-hmm.
charge of. That's more than just oopsies like I don't know, tax fraud or something. It's the company's gone and the entire solar system got bought up.
There's a good life lesson there that if you're in corporate America, just keep your head down. The tallest weed is the one that gets cut first.
That's right.
I did really enjoy Syril's character, though.
Me too.
I thought, and I'm drawing a blank on the actor's name. He's really good. And my favorite, we'll probably get to it a little more with Dedra, is the scenes in season 2 when it's Syril, his mom, and Dedra, the dinner party. I call it the dinner party scene.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was such an unexpected, you don't expect that in an Andor type of show. And again, I'm drawing a blank on the actress who played his mom. She was great, and
Wonderful.
It was just top notch all around for that. And also, if you watch any of the interviews where Kyle Solar, any of the interviews where he and Dedra are doing an interview together, the press stuff, they're hilarious. It's a very chaotic energy to it.
Yeah, those three have really good chemistry at being awful to each other, which is not something you see very often. But they're fantastic, and I really like Syril too. I was expecting him to have some sort of redemption, but he really just is a tragic character. He never really gets a win, and sure, he got his promotion, but it was just to get Andor, and the moment he has his goal, he's gone. And I was almost to a point where I was expecting him to flip and go against the Empire, but he was so brainwashed that I don't think anything could have broke him. I think he was in way too deep.
I think the other tragedy with Syril is, he gets the woman of his dreams, he gets fascist Barbie.
Yeah.
Did she really, was she just using him?
Yeah, and it's hard to tell.
Right, I think that was a good thing the show did, is they never really answered that question.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I said, they had really good chemistry at being awful at each other, right? And if he just wanted a Dommy Mommy, sure. He got that.
Yeah, he got what he wanted there.
But again, from her perspective, I don't know, but she loved power. So being in control of him might have been her thing too. But again, like you said, it's hard to tell. If there was a promotion that came up that was like, hey, if you sell him out, you're going to be the next Grand Moff or whatever, I bet
she would have done it in a heartbeat. Zero regrets.
So again, how strong is that bond, So, yeah, very well done. All right. So that's Syril. He's in our top-bottom list now. So if no one outscores him negatively next year when we do our recap, you'll see him on the leaderboard.
That kind of feels like an appropriate spot for him. Somebody who just couldn't win.
Yeah, he can't even win at losing. He's at second place of the worst. Okay. Next is your guess at the worst is B2EMO. I really wanted him to do something. He didn't. He had no feats and no faults. He was just kind of there. I love his design. I like this I don't know. All the droids seem to have a purpose that we've seen. I don't really know what he does. Is he just like a power bank? But he needs charged all the time. So maybe communications, he can tap into things, but
he never really did it. Really didn't. He was mostly there as kind of semi-comic relief.
Yeah, he was like their pet, which is which is interesting. I like seeing that take for a droid. I just wish he would have done something. But
I think you're right. Pet's kind of a good way to put it, because most droids 3PO speaks 6 million languages. R2D2 is an astromech droid. The droids tend to have a purpose.
Yeah,
he's just
he seemed to have to be charged all the time too.
So I thought that was really interesting. All right, buddy,
go to bed, and then he would go into his little bed and power down for the day.
I thought that was really interesting, because I couldn't really ever think of an another droid where they're like, oh, he's running out of juice. Like, we got to, get him to his charging station, or we got to plug him in. And I'm sure there's been one in, the zillions of books or whatever that I'm just not thinking of. But they never really talk about how the droids are powered,
No.
Like, I mean, I guess that's the advantage of being in a galaxy far, far away. The technology is whatever you need it to be.
Yeah. Like, we've seen them powered down or, like, have restraining bolts put on them. And, like, R2, like, astromechs have, like, docks they sit in, but they're never, like, I've never seen C-3PO be, like, go into, like, a human-shaped hole and, like, charge,
Yeah, like, he powers down at the beginning in A New Hope, but it's more of just, like, he's had a rough day.
Right.
He's just taking a break. It's not that, oh, my battery's almost dead.
Talk about a skill I wish I had. Just wait a couple years and then wake up. Yeah.
I did think his name was a little on the nose. The B2 emo. I was like, come on. All right, guys. That's more of a, I don't know. I feel like that's a little more of a Dave Filoni joke.
Yeah. All right. After him, we have Bix with a score of 4. So she didn't have any faults.
No.
She killed a Hansi Imperial.
Mm-hmm.
She killed another Imperial.
Yep.
She captured and tortured the scientist that traumatized her, which is fantastic. I love that
was great.
Scene. And then she killed another Imperial. So she hated Imperials.
I mean, if you're going to be in the rebellion, hating Imperials is a good skill to have.
Yeah, and it seems like Luthen sent her out on other missions, but we never really saw them, so I can't give her points, because I don't know what she did. I have to see it or hear it, so...
Yeah, there was a article, I don't know if it was fairly recently or when it was, where it was kind of talking about that, like that, why didn't we ever see, Cassian and Bix, like, go really do something? You kind of do the one where they where she kills that Imperial and they like they're walking away and they trigger the bomb, but it wasn't like them off planet or anything like that. And I think if I remember correctly, they were just like, well, we kind of need to leave some implied, or can't show everything. So yeah, she was a good character. It felt like she didn't have a whole lot to do in season 2. And I mean, I realized that was by design. That she's been, traumatized a few times.
Yeah, and then cooped up with nobody. And the hell that plays on your mind, Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to watch, to be honest, in the show, just her deterioration from the beginning. Yeah. But again, that's by design, and that's why I think this show is so good. It's not the hopeful rebellion. It's the gritty start, the hard work that went into it before Luke just left the farm and came in for a day and saved everybody. Like he wasn't locked in a hotel for years.
Yeah.
He joined and won, and then
Luke probably joined like, God, why is it taking you guys so long? I was here a couple days and I blew up a Death Star. What have you guys been doing?
Yeah, so... Oh, man.
All right, who's next?
So after her, we have my favorite character from Season 1. We have Kino Loy.
Yeah, he's a great character.
Yeah, so Andy Serkis, again, never really has a win if you think of it from the end. Again, we're already way into it, but spoilers, everybody.
Oh, yeah, you guys. Yeah, if you haven't seen Andor, you probably wanted to stop about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, so just pause, erase your mind, and then come back and watch us when you're done. But yeah, I guess I'll get into the points first. He scored 8, so he doubled her score.
Okay.
That's just because of the amount of screen time that he has in the first season. And he freed 5,000 prisoners by shutting down the field. So he saved 5,000 people. He took a group hostage. He killed a guy, and he inspired his men to fight back. So he scored 8, respectable score for only being in 2-3 episodes.
Probably 3, I think.
Yeah.
Not a lot. I mean, he was he was on the screen most of those 3 episodes, or
Yeah.
heavily involved. But yeah, when you only got 3 episodes and you beat a main character, Bix has a lot
Yeah.
more screen time. That's pretty good.
Yeah. It's a fantastic performance by Andy Serkis.
100%.
The emotion that he has, I love it.
Yeah.
And then when he frees everybody and they get to the end, and then he realizes, oh right, it's water, which he knew the whole time because he landed on that prison. It's just he's been so focused on escaping that he doesn't think about it until the end. And the line that I don't know how to swim, that kills me every time.
And I thought they did a really good job of like not showing you his end.
Yeah.
Like, you can kind of leave it up to your imagination. Was he able to get off, or, did he drown?
Right. And as much as I would have been happy to see him wash up on a beach, which was what I was expecting the first time I watched it, not knowing it, like you said, I like better. Like, it would have been a nice moment of, whew, but I think not knowing is worth a lot more than that one moment.
I think so too. I know, I absolutely agree.
Yeah. So, good job, Kino.
I mean, you lead a prison break, you're going to get some points.
Yeah, for sure. Then, next, we have Clea, which was someone who surprised me. The first time I watched it, I did not track her score, which meant I had to go back and rewatch season 1, which is not a horrible thing to do.
Right. There are worse things.
Yes. But the second season is where she really shines.
Yeah.
She dismantled that listening device, which is one of the most tense scenes
Oh my god, that scene is so good.
Yeah. She destroyed a group of ships and 2 troopers. She got intel to Yavin, which is a pretty big deal. And she then does kill Luthen for the rebellion.
That hospital scene is amazing. That was just edge of your seat the whole time.
The second season is so good. As much as I talk about the prison break section of the first season, the second season, beginning to end, it's tense.
Yeah.
And it's you feel powerless. Like you're there with the characters. And it's just so good.
Yeah, I think what's crazy is, and I'm drawing a blank on the actress's name. One of these days we'll actually do research for one of these.
Yeah, one time we'll actually plan and not just jump on and start talking.
No, the actress who plays her, and I'm completely drawing a blank on her name. This was like her first acting job. Like she got it right out of acting school.
Yeah, fantastic.
University, as I believe they call it across the pond.
Yeah, if studios are smart, they should be calling her up. Because...
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, no, I really, really liked her character, and I really liked kind of the revelations you got about her as the series went on. And just like you said, the scene where they're in the art gallery, because you've got Krennic and you've got Mon Mothma there already, adding to the tension. And then she's there with the snitch, trying to undo it. And, she's trying to keep her cool, keep Lonnie, keep him from freaking out.
Yeah.
And while still doing her job. And then the hospital scene, just like start to finish, is just, it's so good. It's so tense. And I know, they kind of pitched Andor as like the Star Wars espionage or the Star Wars spy show. And I kind of, I didn't really feel that in season 1, but season 2, it really, really felt like they went and read some John le Carré novels and were like, all right, we're going to incorporate a lot of this. But I guess I'm not I would have thought Clea was actually probably a little higher, but I guess, season 2 was really when she shined.
Yeah. I was expecting it too. That's why I stopped season 2 and went back and rewatched season 1, just to make sure I really had everything that she did, because she didn't get any faults. She is a perfect rebel, but I just couldn't get her any more points. Like, if we got more backstory of her behind the scenes, like giving intel to people or doing things, then she probably would have scored and probably did score more. But the lack of following her is what did her in, is that screen time that everybody has to fight for.
Yeah, I mean, with such a big cast, there's only so much time to go around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the next character that really surprised me.
Okay.
Tied with Clea with 8 points is Mon Mothma with only 8.
You know, I'm not terribly surprised by that. Only because like she's not active in the ways that you can really quantify it.
Yeah.
Like she bickers with Luthen, she has her big speech, she has her big moment, with her escape with Andor, but she's not out there like, blowing stuff up or, shooting
Right.
Imperials or anything that you really can be like, okay, one dead stormtrooper, that's a point.
Yeah, the best way I think to describe her is she's the rebellion's moral compass.
Mm-hmm.
And she's there to give advice and she helps plan things, but like you said, she doesn't actually achieve anything or do anything. I gave her a point for funding the rebellion because that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And she inspired a group of people to join the rebellion, so I gave her points for that. But she never has that big moment or that big point to score.
Mm-hmm.
She's always in the background, which is necessary for these types of stories, but it doesn't get you the points.
Yeah, and like her big scene, obviously is her speech. That's not really something that's going to get you points. And then when she leaves with Andor, he mostly does, he's getting her out of there. He's doing the stuff that would get the score up.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of hoping that after, and again that scene as well, like the speech and then like Andor getting her out of it, that was such a great scene.
Mm-hmm.
I was almost hoping that you might get a cameo from the Ghost, because in Rebels, they escort her to Yavin.
Yep.
So I didn't think it was going to happen just because they seemed pretty committed to the, we're not showing a Vader, or we're not showing Palpatine. So I really didn't think we'd see the Ghost, but I was kind of hoping. I was like, live action Chopper, come on, man.
Yeah. Was Filoni involved with this? Do you know?
I don't think so, outside of just it generally being Star Wars.
Probably like a producer or something. Yeah, I feel like if he was more involved, you would have seen that little bit of a cameo because he likes to throw things in for the fans. But I'm okay with it being its own thing.
Yeah. I really thought you probably could have had Vader, you could have had Palpatine. I think you could have had either of them show up in a way that did not feel like fan service.
Yeah.
And I really was kind of, this is going to get off the weeds, into the weeds, as we tend to do.
Oh yeah, always.
The book Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire, which if you haven't read that book, it's basically an in-world history of the Empire. Like it's written by, the guy who wrote it in real life, I think he's a professor in Great Britain. So he's a doctor of something, and he's an author. And the book is supposed to be written by a resistance historian. Like they're on Exegol after Rise of Skywalker, and they're uncovering all the secrets of the Sith. And like he's writing a history of sort of Palpatine's rise and fall and the Empire. And in it, they talk about how Vader was more of a looming threat that people like, oh, you don't act up or we'll send Darth Vader, versus somebody that you would see like, in the cantina or, in the mess hall at Imperial headquarters or something.
Yeah.
So in light of that, it kind of makes sense that Vader didn't show up. But I was a little surprised, that he didn't make an appearance, maybe to tell Krennic to knock it off or, something like that.
Yeah. Is he busy tracking down Jedis though?
Right.
Like, isn't that the whole point of his like little crew?
Yeah. I mean, they could definitely say, oh, you can't have Vader show up because he and the Inquisitors are busy.
Yeah.
The Jedi went from Obi-Wan was the last one to, I think we're at the point where we have more Jedi that survived Order 66 than died in it.
So many. Yeah, and the list is going to keep growing because they want to keep having Jedis in the future, and this era is one of the most nostalgic and like, I feel like it's easier to greenlight it once you're around here. So
Yeah,
I think it's just going to keep growing.
I think you're probably right. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of tough to predict the future these days.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so that was who were we
Mon
talking about?
Mothma.
Mon Mothma.
Yeah. Which
We go down a
one
rabbit
last
hole.
one last point before we move on. I like that they recast her, and it's not some weird what's his name? CGI face that they did with
Yeah, when they
Tarkin.
tried to do it with Tarkin.
Yeah. And
So,
she's fantastic.
yes,
You
Genevieve
wouldn't even
O'Reilly. She's awesome.
think it was a recast. Like, if you just go in and watching, it's like, oh yeah, that's Mon Mothma. You know.
So I saw this. I wrote about it last month or so with Death Star HR. The woman who was Mon Mothma in Return of the Jedi was a theater actress. You know, she was mostly theater in England, and she had a quote that she would say like, "Oh, you know, I believe she passed. I believe she has passed away, but she, you know, she'd go join a production." And the other cast members would be like, "Oh, you were in Return of the Jedi?" And she'd be like, "Well, for 7 seconds."
Yeah, but those 7 seconds, man,
Yeah,
lots of toys and merchandise, and you know her name.
Yeah,
so it was, I guess, good performance.
Yep.
Yeah. So in next place, we have Dedra herself. So
my favorite.
She scored 12. So ambition as a character.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah, she was put in charge of Gorman. She gave the order that killed hundreds. So another thing with Feats and Faults, if you're a villain, you get points if you tell your henchmen what to do, right? Because some villains just sit behind a desk the whole time, and that's no fun. So I made villains, if you score them, that if they tell their people what to do, you get that point. So since she gave the order to kill hundreds, she got the point for killing hundreds. She eventually did find Luthen. Like, her main goal was to find, what would they call him?
Axis.
The Axis, yeah. So she found Axis. Good for her. And she found the link to the rebellion. So those are like her top ones. And she didn't get a single fault as a villain. She was ruthless through and through. But you know,
she in a show of standout characters, I honestly think she is probably my favorite character. And I think the arc, maybe not the arc, because she just keeps going up in villainy, but it's like, you know, the first season, it's, oh, you know, she's a woman in the boys club, you know, there's all these, you know, male ISB agents who they don't want to listen to her. And then you get into season 2 and it's like, oh no, she's just as awful as they are.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's pretty awful.
And I think too, like, the woman who plays her, Denise Goff, I think she's fantastic. Like, honestly, one of my favorite scenes, and we already talked about the dinner party scene, but when she's getting ready and she's practicing smiling, like, I would love to know, like, was that in the script? Is that something she came up with? Because, like, it's the character, she has enough self-awareness to know, like, I have to act human. Like, I am going to be among other people. Like, I have to, even in the Empire, even, you know, I have to show a little bit of humanity here, and it pains me to do it. I have to practice at it.
Yeah. She also has that little bit of, like, flying by the seat of her pants for most of it. Like, she likes to put on this air of, I know what's going on and I'm in control. But sometimes I don't know how much of that is real. Like, I picture both scenarios the same, where, like, if Grand Moff, the blue guy, what's his name?
Oh, Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah, Thrawn. Like, if Thrawn walked in the room and saw her, I can see him going, oh, she's talented, she's underused, come with me. But I can also see him go, oh, she's just a faker, and walking away. And I don't know where on the spectrum she lands.
I think I'm going to go with the former, because eventually, if you're she got too many results to be a faker, I think.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, 12 points, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. No, she is probably my favorite character. And, like, the scene with her and Luthen at the end, and that's where she gets reckless, though, you know.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have.
She's so close.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And I mean, I get it. It's like, she's been after him for years, and it's like, how can you finally caught Axis, you finally figured out who he is, you finally, you know all his secrets, you know, and she could have just, gone in and arrested him quietly and, made it easy, but, she wanted to take a little victory lap.
Yeah. Yeah, well, since she's your favorite character, I
Mhm.
went and looked at my master list, and she tied with another prick in the multiverse. She tied with Joffrey Baratheon from Game of Thrones. So there's a nice little connection. They both
Really?
got 12.
God. Those are some assholes there.
Yeah, so she's in good company. Okay, so after her, we have Luthen. So he scored a 15, so he
Okay.
beat her by 3. He had 17 feats, and he had 2 faults. So, again, just like Mon Mothma, I gave him a point for funding the rebellion.
Mhm.
He protected Mon Mothma, like her identity. He found out that Bail Organa's team was corrupt.
Mhm.
So that's a pretty big thing. He destroyed a lot of evidence. He got intel on the Death Star. A lot of it is behind the scenes, just like mechanical workings.
Mhm.
But the one thing that I did give him a fault for was, even though he's like part of the rebellion, he didn't warn the rebel groups, and
Yeah.
they both got destroyed, right, or attacked or something. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, there was the one in season 1. There was the rebel group that he kind of just figured, you know what, let the Imperials have them, because if we warn them, then they'll know. The Imperials will figure out. I think it was the Imperials will figure out we've got a mole.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. But I ended up giving him a fault for that. I think I thought about that one for a while. But yeah, I gave him a fault for that. So he got a 15. Again, another great performance.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Then we have your pick for number 1. We have Krennic at 17. So, like the other Imperials...
No, I picked Krennic last.
Oh, did you pick Krennic last?
I think I went back... I picked him last to start.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, you picked Andor for the... No, you picked Saw for the best.
I picked Saw.
Hey, everybody, rewind and fact check us,
yeah,
because I don't remember.
I picked Krennic last, and then when you said don't forget about the movie, I switched to B2.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, Krennic is 17.
Okay.
So,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, like Dedra, no faults. He oversaw the construction of the Death Star before Tarkin came in and took all the credit. He killed a group of the scientist guys and found the spy in Rogue One.
Yep.
He killed a group. He destroyed an entire city, and he took out Andor once. So he did pretty good.
Bad. That's pretty good.
There's a couple other like piddly ones, but those were like his main ones, and no faults. I mean, you're gonna keep your score, so that's the way to do it.
Yeah, he's such a great character. Like he's such a smarmy jerk that he's the perfect Imperial, and he's got like the cape and everything, and you're just like, God, you just want to punch him, which is a good sign of a good villain.
Sure. Yeah, but I do love it when Tarkin just walks in and is like, I outrank you, this is my project now.
Yeah.
Because was it in this or in the Clone Wars? I think Tarkin was very skeptical of the Death Star. And it wasn't until it was finished that he was like, oh, okay, now it's mine.
Yeah. I also liked with Krennic the scene at the end when he's interrogating Dedra, and he does the little where he's... Yeah. And I read he just ad-libbed that. That wasn't in the script. Yeah. And it was he kind of thought of it and she just went with it.
Yeah, and it's perfect because I didn't know that wasn't in the script, but it makes sense now because when he starts, she fights back a little bit.
Yeah.
She doesn't immediately just fall, as someone would do if it was in a script. He's going to push you down, you fall down. She kind of held her ground for a second.
Yeah.
And I think that is a perfect just visual of the difference in power between the two. She wants to be at the top, but he's like, nah, and puts her back in her place.
Yeah, and it was one of those where it's that scene too, you can kind of see how as she slowly realizes, like, oh shoot, this is bad.
Yeah,
Like, I think she kind of
my head.
Yeah. It starts. She's like, look, you guys are the ones wasting time. Andor is out there. The spies are out there. And he's just like, I'm not concerned with like your little wild goose chase. Like, we're dealing with
so much on my plate.
Yeah.
We're dealing with a whole galaxy here. I mean, I have the Outer Rim to worry about, and the Death Star, and you come in with one spy.
Yeah, no, he's a fantastic character. I would not be upset if like they brought him back in some capacity.
Yeah. So he was our 4th place for this week.
Okay. All right, so we've got Saw, Andor, and who am I missing?
K2.
K2, that's right. K2 kind of kicks ass, so I can see him having a lot.
I think he's my favorite droid. I just love how imposing he is.
Mm-hmm.
I love Chopper and R2, but there's just something about his sarcasm and then the strength he has to back it up that, like, Chopper would kill to have his body. It would be
if you put Chopper's brain into K2. Oh my god!
it would be the end.
Yeah,
he would kill everyone. But yeah. So speaking of K2, he is our 3rd place participant.
All right.
He got a score of 28. He also had 0 faults. Some of his breakout feats: he captures Jin. He takes out droids and gets like the security codes for like the doors.
Mm-hmm.
He finds the Death Star plans, and then another thing I do for heroes, he sacrificed himself.
Yes.
And if you sacrifice yourself for somebody, you get a +3 bonus. So he got a nice little +3 bonus into his score, and he also caught a grenade, threw it back, and killed a group of people, which is a wonderful scene.
Oh, that is a great. Yeah, K2 really is a fun character. Like, he's everything you would want in a murder droid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I didn't know I wanted to see his origin story, but seeing it, I really loved it. It was just, I love that scene where he's just going down the hallway, Terminator style, just cleaning up.
That when they let the K2 droids out, like during the Gorman massacre, like that's so good. It really, like, it ramps up an already really intense scene. Like, if you're, the Gorman, like the Gores, like, they don't really realize they're being set up,
No.
And then it's like, oh shoot, Imperials are shooting, things are going very, very bad, and then the droids come out.
Right, and while the Imperials don't have any morals, these droids have even less morals. Like,
right.
If you just push them on accident, like, they would swing their arm, and the strength that they have, it would just kill a normal guy. Like, it's... Whew, that was scene.
Whew, yeah. K2 is a great character. Yeah, and he's just fantastic in Rogue One.
Yeah. He's great in everything. I love him.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so we're up to our second place.
I said
it was close.
All right, my predictions: Saw's first, Andor is second. Putting that on the record.
So there's only a 4-point difference between the two, and they're both in the 40s.
Oh wow!
So they both scored well. But in second place, we have Saw.
I mean, I guess Andor did get a show named after him. That's probably like a +10 bonus.
But Saw did well. He actually outscored Andor in feats.
Okay.
He had 49 feats, while Andor only had 48. But it's the faults that got him. Because in the Clone Wars, I believe it's the Clone Wars, he killed his sister. Which is... It was an accident, but it happened. You know? And then during the Bad Batch, he shows up and he ruins one of their missions. And then I also gave him a fault for abandoning Jin, just because that's an horrible thing to do for, like, a surrogate father. No matter what your reasoning is. So he abandoned her. He also stuns 2 of his allies. He really has this thing where he doesn't care about his people.
No.
And that kind of hurt him. His death really bothers me. I gave him a fault for staying and dying for no reason. Because his whole thing was, I can't go on. But he could have gone on. He could have tried. Like, all of a sudden, this big tough guy that's so against the Empire, like the whole way through, he doesn't care what it's going to take. His men could die, I could lose a limb, I'm going to beat them. All of a sudden, all of his motivation just disappears in that movie. I think just for like an emotional death. And he's just like, nah, I'm going to die. And then he gets killed.
Yeah, I guess he was, maybe charitably he could be like, all right, I've had enough. Like,
yeah,
I've got, Jin reconnected with, I felt Saw was a little underused in Andor. Like, they couldn't really figure out what they wanted to do with him. And I wonder, because, Tony Gilroy's original plan was he wanted to do like 5 seasons of 5 years. And I wonder, there were some times where I felt like, oh, if, we were going to get 5 seasons, like, would this storyline have, played out a little more? Like, kind of the beginning of season 2, where Andor crashes, where he crashes the TIE fighter that he has to seal, and he has to deal with the rebels who are fighting with each other. Like, I kind of feel like, the point was there to kind of show maybe how the rebellion progressed, but it really just felt like, there could have been more there. Maybe like another storyline was there. And I always kind of felt that was Saul. Like, he'd pop up, he'd kind of do some stuff, but it didn't always feel tied into the bigger picture.
Right. To me, he's the opposite side of the coin of Mon Mothma.
Yes.
Which they do play in this.
Yes.
But like you said, if they had more time, I think it would have been interesting to have like a season or like a dual season where you followed Andor and you followed him. And his viewpoint on the rebellion to the point where you were almost not with the rebellion because of how dark or shady they went. And then you, at the end, the rebellion chose their identity of Mon Mothma and not of the cruelty of Saul.
Right.
I think that would have been very interesting.
Yeah, it's like you could almost say like he was the flip side of the Empire of, the Empire has no morals. They will do whatever, they'll wipe out a planet to get the natural resources they need. And, Saw didn't have any problem, like, killing his men if he thought they were disloyal or, anything like that. And it was, I think he's supposed to be there to ask the question of, like, if you're behaving immorally for a moral goal, like, he is the ultimate do the ends justify the means type of question that you don't have to ask with, Mon Mothma, who wants to have a, play within a set of rules. Andor is kind of, Cassian is kind of, he's in between. Like, he's going to shoot an Imperial, but he's not going to, I don't know, go to the level that Saw will, I think would be the way to put it.
Destroy like a civilian fuel depot or whatever. Right. And then just so the Empire doesn't have supplies.
Exactly.
And doesn't worry about the casualties.
Yeah. I mean, I like the character. I like Forrest Whitaker. I think Forrest Whitaker's a good actor. But yeah, I guess too. So how much, I don't know if you have this broken down. I'm sure you do on a spreadsheet. How much of Saw's score was like Andor versus, Rebels or versus Clone Wars?
That's a good question. I'm not 100%. Let me just do a quick little tippy tap here. All right. So he shows up in a lot of things. He's in Andor, he's in Rogue One, he's in Rebels, he's in Bad Batch. The breakdown, he does the most in... He does a good bit in Bad Batch. He has a nice, 6-7 points in Bad Batch. In Rebels... I think it's Rebels where he gets the most. he destroys a Star Destroyer, which I count as a city because of the amount of people that are on those things.
Yeah.
He did that twice in Rebels. A lot of group points, singles. Like, I think that's where he gets the most. In Andor is where he gets a lot of, not Andor, but like Rogue One is where he gets his faults.
Okay.
So the movie was kind of detrimental to his character when it came to score, which isn't usually the case, but when you have such a complex character like this, like it happens.
Yeah.
It's hard to score to a point because you don't know what is good or beneficial to him. But
Right.
a lot of the things that I picked, he definitely was a negative impact in that. So,
all right.
and then we got first place, which is Andor, which is a funny stat. He scored 47, which seems to be a hang-up for a lot of Star Wars characters because he scored the same as Rey and Omega. So it's just interesting.
There's a wall that they hit.
Yeah. It's interesting that with as many characters as I go and how different the scores can be, we have 3 characters from Star Wars that hit that 47 mark and just couldn't get past it, which is interesting. But yeah, his feats, he got 48 of them, only 1 fault. He stole the whole payroll for a sector. He escaped prison. He saved Mon Mothma, and he killed a dozen troopers and stole their TIE Avenger. So those are like his big feats. He has a lot of other ones, but those were like the impressive ones or like the impactful ones. The only fault he had, again, comes from the movie. Right in the beginning, instead of helping or talking down that guy, he shoots him and draws attention to himself.
Yep, yeah,
Like,
at the very beginning of Rogue One.
Yeah, because he's trying to sneak away, but then he shoots a blaster, and he could have easily either conned that guy, because he's like a con guy, and be like, okay, buddy, I'll help you. You go around the corner and watch, and I'll go this way.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, make him just run away. I don't know. But he shot his blaster and made everybody come find him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was his one fault. He was almost perfect.
So close, Cassian. So close. Did he get points for his hero's death?
Probably. Yeah. I don't think I added it on his main scorecard, but I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you get the show named after you. I should have picked him as number 1. That's your first clue right there.
Yeah, but the amount of episodes that Saul's in, like, you have to consider that.
Yeah.
But again, that goes to show that screen time doesn't always mean you're going to score higher. Because I would say, everything considered, Saul might have a little bit more appearances than Andor. But, you know, it was a close race. It was only 4 points. So, it was a close week.
Man, I liked Cassian as a character. I just thought I almost felt like they kind of dragged out at the end, like, you know, when he wants to leave the rebellion, when he wants to, you know, he wants to take Bix. And I almost felt like they dragged that out a little too long. But if that's my biggest complaint about a character, otherwise, you know, he's fun. I really liked the scene in season 2 when he gets back from Gorman. And, like, he and Bix are kind of, you know, Bix is teasing him, like, oh, you're a fancy pants now because, you know, you were hanging out with the Gore. You're dressed up now. You know, you're not this scrub, you know, he's a scrub from Ferrex. I was a little surprised. Actually, let me ask you, were you surprised they never really did anything with his sister? Like, she was kind of a MacGuffin in the first season.
I am surprised. Like you said, I thought it would come up more. And they got focused on so many other things. I thought, I don't know, she would have escaped that island, or I guess not island, but like planet. You know, it's Star Wars, that planet, and maybe been an Imperial or
right.
I think you don't know.
Yeah, I think
maybe
there
one of Saul's guys. That would have been interesting.
I think there was, you know, Reddit's, ideas or whatever that Clea would end up being his sister or something like that.
Mm.
And it's one of those, it's like, I mean, I guess she was there because she kind of kicks everything off. Like when he goes to a brothel in Star Wars, I mean, can we even get into that?
Right.
There's a lot of stuff, but when Andor goes there and he shoots the 2 guards and Syril, gets on his high horse about it. And I mean, that's really what kicks everything off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those. So, yeah, I was a little surprised they didn't revisit it. But I guess they kind of figured, that's what she was there for,
Yeah. Yeah, but again, this show was so well, like, everything had payoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the payoff, like, for Syril was that, oh, it's a depressing, tragic character. Like, there was something there.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think that they would have brought that back somehow. It really was like they got distracted with everything and just kind of forgot about it.
I mean, and that could be one of those things where, if they had gotten the 5 seasons out of it,
right,
they would have done something with it. But man, that's a pretty good were there any Andor characters that you were like that were kind of on the borderline of whether you were going to include them or not?
Yes, actually. So like Bix's like little family group I was looking at. There was the big guy and the guy with the curly hair.
Yeah.
I was looking at them and I ended up not scoring them just because I have their points. They just didn't do anything. In my notes, I called him Big Beardy because I didn't know his name. All he did was escape, so he had 1 point.
Yeah.
So I didn't do him. The curly hair guy, I don't know his name either.
I'm trying to. He goes off with Saw though.
Yeah, he stole twice. Yeah, he trained a man. He steals Redonium or whatever.
Yeah, Redonium. I wanted to call it coaxium, and I knew that wasn't right.
Yeah, and then he took a group out, and so he did pretty well. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. He scored 5.
That's not bad.
So I
Syril.
guess yeah, he actually beat Bix too.
Yeah.
But I ended up not including him because I don't know. Nobody. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't include him. And then the other one was Vel, Mon Mothma's cousin.
Yeah.
Which she's in a lot of the first like season, but again, she's not the one that actually achieves anything or does anything. She's there. In my notes, I have that she disabled a vehicle, and that's all I have for her. So I don't know if I stopped tracking her for season 2. But she really didn't end up doing much. She's just kind of there.
She was there for the Gorman Underground, like when they were going to do their heist, and then what was her part? Cinta, when Cinta gets killed. There was a kind of after the show came out, there was a bunch of chatter online. Like people were like, "Oh, they should do a show where it's Vel and Clea and Vel." After like Return of the Jedi, like going around hunting Imperials, and you kind of like Inglorious Bastards in the Star Wars universe. I was like,
hey, I'd watch it.
Yeah, I would watch the hell out of that show.
Yeah.
And somebody had said you could have Dedra in prison as like their Hannibal Lecter type.
Yeah.
I was like, I would absolutely watch that.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a pretty good list of characters. Pretty good. Pretty good feats. Pretty good faults.
Yeah, and like I said, he tied with Rey, tied with Omega, 2 other people. He also tied with Drogon the dragon from Game of Thrones. So he scored the same as a dragon. So that's
pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's a good thing to have on your record.
Was there anyone at the bottom who you thought was going to do better? Like, I don't think the top characters are not surprising.
No. I thought, like I said, Mon Mothma was going to do better just because she's in, like, some Clone Wars and I think some Rebels.
Yeah.
And she even shows up a little bit in Ahsoka, right?
Yes. Yeah. They have, the kind of pseudo-courtroom scene.
Right. And I was just expecting her to do a little bit more just because her name is, like, when I think of Star Wars, Mon Mothma is one of the names that I think of. It's a pretty iconic name. but I feel like that's what she is. She's a name.
Mm-hmm.
She's merchandise. So she didn't score as well as I thought. I really thought she was going to do better. Syril surprised me. I wasn't expecting him to go that low, but again, when you lose an entire system, dude, that's on your record.
That's a tough one to overcome.
In the Empire. Yeah.
All right, so Andor in general, I mean, great show. I mean, I
loved it.
Yeah,
almost. It's what Star Wars should be, you know. For like, there's a couple different like genres in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have like the kids, and then you have like the adult. And when you go for like the adult version, I think this is what Star Wars should be. It should focus on this.
It is pretty crazy. Like when you look back at it and think that like they made a Star Wars show 2 seasons worth, so 24 episodes. I can't remember how many.
Yeah,
how many
24.
episodes with? Yeah, they made a 24 episode series with basically like one vague reference to the Force.
Right.
Like there's no lightsabers, there's no Jedi. You don't know. You know, the starring character was the secondary character of a movie that wasn't a Jedi movie either.
Yeah,
like it is. It is wild that it worked.
Both of those things are a throwaway line from the original movie. So
yes.
they got a movie and 2 seasons of a show out of a throwaway line. which I guess is the same as the Clone Wars, which they got the prequels and like a 9-season animated show out of a throwaway line.
Yeah, like when Luke said, imagine if Luke said like, oh, you did my father fight in the Ewok Wars? Right. We would have had like 10 seasons of just Ewoks.
Yeah, Ewok Adventures.
Yeah.
Here we come.
But yeah, it is. I was also fairly surprised of how adult the show was. Like, they open it, it's basically a space brothel.
Yeah.
You know, they have the scene where the Imperial tries to sexually assault Bix.
Right.
You know, there's some far more graphic torture than anything we've seen in anything else. And I read an interview with Tony Gilroy kind of after the show came out, and he was talking about how, it's ridiculous how much, crap Kathleen Kennedy takes. And he's like, everything that happened on the show happened because she, made it happen.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine anyone at Disney was like, I'm so glad we're putting a sexual assault scene in a Star Wars show. Like, this is what we've been waiting for.
Yeah, this is like the Hulu Star Wars,
Yeah. Yeah, this is like HBO Max Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I think it's a testament to Tony Gilroy to and the writers that he assembled to put this together. And it's a testament that, to Kathleen Kennedy and anyone else in Lucasfilm that I have to imagine kept Disney off their back.
Yeah. I mean, that's
the price too.
I also, as much as I like Filoni, I don't think he could make this show.
No. This is, Dave has his own style, and this is, it's not saying one is better than the other, but this is not a show that he would make.
Right. It's just a different flavor.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Star Wars was missing for a long time. Unless you count Baby Jedi Adventures, because that's a very different flavor than Andor.
Nubs Nation, rise up.
Can you imagine if Nubs showed up in Andor?
Oh my god. So,
get to see a Poobian rip a man in half.
I know the timeline doesn't work, but I still want to see it.
Yeah.
Nubs is like
a live action Poobian. That would be amazing.
Yes. Nubs can join the Cinta and Clea hunting down Imperials. Yeah. I didn't know I needed that until now.
Yep. When worlds collide.
All right, we've been going at this over an hour, so we should probably wrap this up. So Shane, any last thoughts on Andor that you want to get out there?
Great show. My favorite character, ISB agent, if you want ISB agent, don't forget to comment. It's everybody's favorite. I'll make sure it gets to you. You'll get a message from me. You just gotta comment in our comment sections and subscribe. I will check if you're subscribed.
Yes,
I'll check.
No free rides here. You're not the
That's
gore.
Right. I'm paying postage. You can click a button.
All right, yeah. I mean, I don't think there's anything more to say about Andor that we haven't said. I mean, there's not enough good things you can say about it.
Fantastic.
I think the only tragedy is we will never see a show like this again. Like,
I really don't think so.
I just, between like the amount of characters, the amount of money they spent, like Disney spent some money on this.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen again. So,
especially with the failure of Acolyte, which I think they were trying that darker tone. And Filoni taking over. I love Filoni, but his stuff is kind of quippy and fun. And I don't see them doing a dark show like this for a long time. We already see the direction they're going with The Mandalorian, and when they made Skeleton Crew. It has its moments, but again, it's a fun romp. It's not a dark, gritty, you feel tense and like you just want to end everything when it's over. Because some of these scenes, you just had to shut everything off and sit in a corner for a minute because my nerves were shot.
On that happy note, we should probably wrap this up. Shane, tell everyone where they can find Feats N Faults again.
You can find me Feats N Faults on Substack and a Reddit, apparently. Thank you, whoever's running the Reddit. With like 3 people.
The Feats N Faults Reddit will definitely be in the show notes. You can find the Death Star Human Resources Department at deathstarhr.com. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Facebook page. Shane, always a pleasure to talk to you. Always. I am absolutely sure we will do this again at some point.
I'm sure.
All right. Make sure you follow Feats N Faults. Make sure you follow Death Star HR. And may the Force be with you.